2 minutes. That's all it takes to completely change your relationship with discipline. Not 2 hours, not 2 weeks, 2 minutes. And by the end of this video, you'll have a technique so simple, so effective, that you'll wonder why nobody ever taught you this before. This isn't theory. This is a method used by the most disciplined people in Japan for over 70 years, and it works every single time. You know that feeling when you need to do something, you know you should do it, but you just can't make yourself start? That resistance, that invisible wall between intention and action? What if I told you that wall only exists because you're approaching discipline completely wrong? Most people think discipline is about willpower, about forcing yourself to do hard things for long periods of time. But the Japanese discovered something different, something that makes discipline almost automatic. Let me tell you about Ryu. 26 years old, naturally gifted, could pick up any skill faster than anyone around him. Piano, languages, martial arts, whatever he tried, he excelled at immediately. But Ryu had one fatal flaw. He couldn't maintain anything. He would start strong, burn bright for a few days, then completely lose steam. His apartment was filled with half-finished projects. His mind was filled with half-developed skills. He had all the talent in the world and none of the discipline to use it. Sound familiar? Ryu's grandfather watched this pattern repeat itself for years. Finally, one day, he sat Ryu down and taught him something that changed everything. A technique so simple that Ryu almost dismissed it. But his grandfather made him promise to try it for just 1 week, 7 days. That was 4 years ago. Ryu hasn't missed a single day of practice since. What did his grandfather teach him? A 2-minute rule that the Japanese have been using since the post-war industrial boom. They call it the foundation of Kaizen, continuous improvement. But it's not what you think. This isn't about doing something for just 2 minutes and calling it done. This is about using 2 minutes to unlock something much more powerful, something that makes discipline feel effortless. Here's how it works. Every single thing you need to do, every goal you have, every habit you want to build, you break it down to a 2-minute starting ritual. Not the whole task, just the start. And you make a specific commitment about exactly when and where you'll do those 2 minutes. Not someday, not when you feel like it. A precise moment tied to something that already happens in your day. This is called implementation intention, and research shows it increases your follow-through rate by 300%. 300%. A study from the British Journal of Health Psychology found that 91% of people who used this technique stuck to their new habits, compared to only 35% who relied on motivation alone. Think about that. You can almost triple your discipline with one simple adjustment. Let me show you exactly how Ryu applied this. He wanted to practice piano every day. For months, he'd been telling himself he would practice whenever he had time, but time never appeared. Motivation never came, so his grandfather taught him the formula. After I pour my morning coffee, I will sit at the piano and play scales for 2 minutes. That's it. Not after breakfast, not in the morning sometime, after I pour my morning coffee. The trigger was specific. The action was specific. The duration was so short that his brain couldn't create resistance. The first day, Ryu did his 2 minutes and stopped. It felt almost silly. Just 2 minutes of scales. But something interesting happened. The next day, after he started his 2 minutes, he kept going for 10, then 20. By day 4, he was playing for 45 minutes without even noticing. Not because he forced himself, because starting had become automatic and momentum took care of the rest. This is the secret the Japanese discovered. Discipline isn't about sustaining effort. It's about removing the friction from starting. Once you start, continuation is easy. It's that first step, that moment of initiation where everyone fails. So instead of trying to discipline yourself through an entire task, you only discipline yourself through 2 minutes, just 2 minutes. Your brain can handle 2 minutes of anything. Here's why this works on a neurological level. Your brain resists tasks based on perceived effort. When you think about practicing piano for an hour, your brain calculates the energy cost and creates resistance. But when you think about playing scales for 2 minutes, the energy cost is so low that resistance doesn't activate. You slip past your brain's defense system, and once you're in motion, a completely different mechanism takes over. Inertia. An object in motion stays in motion. A body in action continues acting. The 2-minute technique isn't about doing less. It's about starting easier so you naturally do more. Raru started applying this to everything. He wanted to write every day. After I close my laptop at the end of work, I will open my journal and write 1 sentence. 2 minutes. He wanted to exercise consistently. After I change into workout clothes, I will do 10 push-ups. 2 minutes. He wanted to learn Japanese. After I eat lunch, I will review 5 flashcards. 2 minutes. Each commitment was tied to a specific trigger. Each action was absurdly small, and each one created momentum that carried him far beyond the initial 2 minutes. Within 3 months, Ryu had made more progress than he'd made in 3 years of relying on motivation. He was writing 1,000 words a day, exercising for 40 minutes, learning 20 new words. Not because he had more willpower, because he had better systems. The 2-minute technique removed the starting friction, and momentum handled everything else. Now here's the part most people miss. The implementation intention, the specific when and where, is more important than the action itself. Most people say things like, I'm going to work out more, I'm going to read every day, I'm going to be more productive. These aren't commitments, these are wishes. They have no trigger, no specific moment, no automatic activation. Compare that to the Japanese formula. After I brush my teeth in the morning, I will do 5 squats. The difference is everything. One relies on remembering and motivating yourself. The other happens automatically when you brush your teeth. One requires constant willpower. The other requires 2 minutes of willpower on day 1, then runs on autopilot. This is Kaizen at its core. Continuous improvement through tiny, specific, automatic actions. The Japanese rebuilt their entire industrial economy using this principle. Toyota became the most efficient manufacturer in the world by focusing on improvements so small they seemed meaningless. 2-minute adjustments to assembly lines, micro-optimizations to processes. But those 2-minute changes, repeated consistently, created trillion-dollar results. The same principle applies to your life. Ryu's transformation wasn't dramatic on any single day. 2 minutes of piano didn't make him a virtuoso. 2 minutes of writing didn't produce a novel. 2 minutes of exercise didn't build muscle. But 2 minutes, repeated daily, triggered by specific moments, created unstoppable momentum. After 1 year, he had practiced piano for over 200 hours, written 80,000 words, done over 15,000 push-ups, all from 2-minute commitments. Let me show you how to build your own 2-minute technique right now. First, identify one thing you need to do consistently, but keep failing at. Just 1, not 5 goals, 1. Second, find an existing moment in your day that happens automatically. Something you already do without thinking. Pouring coffee, brushing teeth, sitting down at your desk, closing your laptop, getting in your car. That's your trigger. Third, design a 2-minute version of your goal. Not the full task, just the smallest possible start. If your goal is to read more, your 2-minute action is opening the book and reading 1 page. If your goal is to meditate, your 2-minute action is sitting on your cushion and taking 3 breaths. Then you connect them with the formula. After I do this trigger, I will do this 2-minute action. Write it down. Say it out loud. Make it specific. After I pour my coffee, I will read 1 page. After I brush my teeth at night, I will sit on my meditation cushion for 3 breaths. After I park my car at home, I will change into workout clothes and do 5 jumping jacks. The action needs to be so easy that you can't fail. If 2 minutes feels too long, make it 1 minute. If 1 minute feels too hard, make it 30 seconds. The goal isn't to do a lot. The goal is to start every single time without exception. Once starting becomes automatic, Expansion becomes natural. Here's what happened with Ryu that most people don't expect. After 6 months of his 2-minute practice, he stopped thinking about discipline entirely. It wasn't something he did anymore. It was just what happened after he poured his coffee. The piano practice wasn't a decision. It was what his hands did after they set down the mug. Writing wasn't a task he had to motivate himself for. It was just what happened after work ended. This is the highest level of discipline. When it stops being something you do and becomes something you are. The Japanese have a saying, the bamboo that bends is stronger than the oak that resists. Most people approach discipline like an oak tree, rigid, forceful, trying to power through resistance with pure strength. But that oak breaks in the storm. The 2-minute technique is bamboo, flexible, efficient, bending around resistance instead of fighting it. And that flexibility makes it unbreakable. Now, people make 3 critical mistakes with this technique. First, they make the action too big. If you're trying to discipline yourself through even 5 minutes at the start, you've already failed. 2 minutes maximum. Smaller is better. Second, they choose vague triggers. After breakfast doesn't work because breakfast isn't a precise moment. After I swallow my last bite of breakfast works. Specificity is everything. Third, they try to stack multiple 2-minute commitments on the first day. Start with one, just one. Master it for a week, then add another. The power is in the consistency, not the quantity. Here's your implementation challenge. Right now, before this video ends, you're going to create one 2-minute commitment. Take 10 seconds and identify your trigger, an existing moment that happens every single day. Take another 10 seconds and design your 2-minute action, the smallest possible version of what you want to build. Then take 10 more seconds and write down the formula. After I do this trigger, I will do this action. That's 30 seconds of work that will change the next 30 days of your life. Tomorrow morning, you'll execute your 2-minute commitment. Not when you feel like it. Not if you have time. At the exact moment your trigger happens. 2 minutes, that's all. No exceptions, no negotiations, no waiting for motivation. The trigger happens, the action follows. By day 7, starting will feel automatic. By day 30, you'll be doing 10 times more than the original 2 minutes without even trying. This is how discipline actually works. Not through heroic effort, through intelligent design. Not through willpower, through momentum. The samurai didn't become masters by training for hours from day 1. They became masters by showing up for minutes every single day until showing up became who they were. 2 minutes, 1 trigger, 0 excuses. Now tell me in the comments, what's your 2-minute commitment going to be? What trigger will you use and what action will follow? Write it down publicly. Make it real. Because the difference between the person you are and the person you want to be isn't talent. It isn't time. It's 2 minutes of implementation intention, repeated until discipline becomes identity. The technique is simple. The results are permanent. Start tomorrow. Start with 2 minutes. Start exactly when your trigger happens. Everything changes when starting becomes automatic.